Time2Talk podcast. Today, I don't have Vanessa, she's got the kiddies, and instead I have got the lovely Danielle Griffiths with his, huge campaign, big movement of Stomp. So I just want to know about everything that you're doing and just really know about everything that you want to do and what you're going to change and stuff. So it's going to be exciting. So let's go from there. So Dan, introduce yourself.
Thank you very much. Oh my goodness, I feel like the expectation and the bar has been set pretty high with that intro. So when we find out, we'll see if we meet that high expectation. But anyway, yes, thank you. Thank you very much for the invite. So yes, I am the founder and executive director of Stomp UK, and we started out 2 years ago with LGBT training. I worked for a range of different businesses up and down the country, advertising agencies, utilities companies. I know, glamorous and sexy, but I saw a massive difference between different companies with their budgets for mental health and well-being. Some of them had amazing LGBT training and some smaller companies didn't have that facility, that cash flow to actually invest in that, and how actually those companies not having the ability to invest, what that actually meant for real life in the office, and how without knowing you're creating quite a toxic culture, being completely unaware. You have not got a clue of what you're doing. It's all very subconscious. I saw that actually, well, obviously when I was working, I spent 3 years in industry, so I was seeing it, I was part of it, and I just thought, I actually want to do something about it. So I've spotted a gap in the market. I was asking HR, do you know about LGBT trend? Do you know about mental well-being workshops? I just went, that's really expensive. You've got to get someone down from London for that. And I started breaking it down, looking into it, looking what was out there. And there is an awful lot of stuff. And it can be like a black hole, really, because you can go down a black hole and find so much. It's all the top level psychology behind it, the psychology behind behavior. And I just thought, if you're sitting in an office, that's not really what you want. Actually, what you really want is, what does that mean for me? How can I impact that? What can I do to change, make a better culture? So we started doing workshops and training with that top line practical approach through everything that we did. And what we wanted to do is, we noticed that it's great to have training, but you've got a captive audience, really. You're not going to have your full company. And I know, because I'm a teacher by trade, like, you will say something and a few days later you forgot. In my students' case, it's a few hours. In fact, it's even been a lesson they forgot. But the whole idea is, actually, you're going to forget things. So what we wanted to do is create something online, create something with a free resource, so everyone, if you subscribe to it, can get that help and just dip in and out of it. It shouldn't be a whole, you need to sit through 6 hours worth of training to get the answer and fish through it, because you're busy, and let's face it, ain't nobody got time for that. So what we wanted to do is literally just create, it's things like support for managers, how to manage someone through the transition period, how to get little tasks and things to improve your mental well-being. Say your Monday briefing, what's a 10-minute task you can do to get people talking? Really top level, high energy stuff, and things that you can actually implement through those little changes. And there's little bits of information in terms of like anxiety, that information of what is anxiety, but also spot the signs, taking some theory, but also looking at what you can do. And then obviously the pandemic hit, and that's the words we've been saying for the last year, and no one knows what's going on, but things have changed more than we could ever have imagined this time a year ago. We probably thought we'd be sitting in a room now having a chat, but sadly, things have changed and we don't know what's coming. And businesses we worked with, they had to do some enormous cutbacks, and it's simply just to survive. It's not because they didn't want to, but also they had no choice. It was that or administration. And that really got me thinking, and that actually hit home with me, because I compared what was happening to our company values. And what we wanted to achieve was to help as many people, to eliminate that postcode lottery for mental health support, and to make sure that you've got that support when you need it. And I just thought, with these circumstances, actually having that paid for option, the people who need it the most haven't got that support. So that's why we wanted to, as a company, we made our portal service free. We've put a load of training support on there, and I've teamed up with my business partner, who is actually a counsellor. So we've really wanted to increase and build on the mental well-being side of it as well. So we're looking at areas such as stress, anxiety, depression, making sure you've got those workbooks there to help you if you're struggling. And as well from that, we're always building content. We're breaking down, we've got some handbooks on there at the moment, but then we're going to be breaking it down in terms of the importance of creating a routine. So it's just more bite-sized chunks as well as we're going. So that's where we are at the moment. And it's been a whirlwind. And if you asked me 12 months ago, would we be doing this? What would Stomp be looking like? I, in all honesty, thought it would be a 3-month lockdown, and who knows? But I've seen how the naivety, the pure naivety. But I've seen how things change, and actually through people staying at home, working from home, the impact that's having on people's mental health, and that's actually when they need it the most. So obviously we are always building on content, and one of the things that's coming up in our May newsletter is new content I've just signed off around working from home. So supporting you when you are working from home, because we know so many people have had that, basically been forced through no choice of their own, saying, right, okay, and they're finding it really tough differentiating between the office and home. And obviously not having that physical thing of going out to work, they're really struggling separating work life and home life, creating that balance and how to do it when it is the same place. So we're creating more support around that. So that's where we're going. And yeah, it's just a case of just spreading the word, really, I'd say.
Gosh, it sounds amazing. I've got so many questions. I mean, you kept talking though, then one question went out, another question came in. It's I feel like what you're creating is just never going to end though. Like it's one of them things where the content's just going to build and build, because we're living in a world now where one thing might help someone and then something might help someone else. So yoga has become something so big, and even stuff from like breath work, so that you can include this all into that, like different ways, because some people might cope by going for a walk, some might cope from reading a book. Do you know what I mean? Each person and making all these routines. So I think what you're creating is it's going to be huge.
It will be. And yeah, absolutely, because everyone has a different relationship with their mental health. Everyone's coping strategies are completely different. That's why we would never give you a template of what coping strategies look like, because they've got to be personal for you.
Yes.
And that's the things we do have actually on the website in terms of mindfulness. Colouring has become incredibly popular. There's actually a yoga tutorial on there, things to protect. It's not something maybe with anxiety or depression, but actually it helps protect you as well. And that's one of the really important things. Obviously, before coming to this, marketing was my background. I always ask people, we've got the feedback on the website in terms of what do you want to see? It could be huge, but we want to give you the support you want. We want to have that communication with you. And also we do monitor what pages are popular, where does the web traffic go, in terms of if those popular areas, they're the ones obviously we will keep, they're the ones we will expand and develop. So it is in growing, but more importantly, it's growing about what you want it to be, and your relationship with your mental health, your relationship with the portal, everyone's is going to be different.
Well, I just think the one thing that I think people, well, going back to what you said from when you went into businesses, so I work in health and safety, and again, it's one of them, people go, oh God, health and safety, Jesus, how boring. But it's one of them, I feel like it's not, so with mental health, it's almost a tick box. When you go to big companies, it's like, oh yeah, I've got a mental well-being, and they just want to tick a box off. And it is one of them things like, oh, we'll give you 20 million workbooks. If you need them, there they are. But what you were saying is we want to put practicality to it, because then you remember it and actually see this stuff is actually going to benefit a lot of people. Because mainly with your LGBT thing, a lot of people are very a bit selfish. They'll think, well, it's not bothering me, but it's bothering someone else. And I think how you're making it practical is so good. It makes it sink in a bit more, because I think people forget that it's real life stuff. You're not saying it for the fun of it.
No, absolutely not. And that's what people do forget. And I think that's something really important that you touched upon. As we always said this with business, and we got really strange looks when we said it, because we said your policy That's just to keep you out of court. That's the only time what you will use your policies, is when someone, you know, things aren't going peachy or rosy and you need them to fall back on. They will be in a filing cupboard in HR and you'll probably never see them. What does that actually mean? It actually means, Jack, explicit, because it's not used. And that's why everything we've tried to do, you know, we have helped some companies who do want to box tick with a policy, but it's more about, okay, what does these lines on the policy mean? How can we implement it? And some of the most rewarding training we've done is we worked with a construction company in Liverpool, very similar to health and safety. And you had people coming in and they were going, why do we need to start talking about mental well-being? What's the whole point of this? And they had that complete, you know, we're tough, you know, that whole representation of masculinity. We don't need to talk about this. HR says we've got to be here, and let's face it, we want a day off. So that's why we're here. And, you know, we'll always start off with some statistics. You know, just look at male suicide.
It's ridiculous.
Look how shockingly high that is. And we do some activities and we start breaking it down into why that is. And by sitting there saying, I don't need to talk about this, or this is a load of policy stuff, we don't need to worry about that. By doing that, you're exactly feeding into those numbers. And, you know, we're starting to make it seem real, understandable. And actually, when people start understanding it, they're the biggest journeys you have. The people who don't want to be there can actually be the most rewarding days, and they're the people who get the most out of the free services we're offering.
Oh, 100%. And even let's take it back to the LGBT. Like, I'm going to be honest, I do think that I can't say COVID's done a lot of good, because obviously it's killed a lot of people and it's taken people's lives away from the normality. But when it comes to like Black Lives Matter and LGBT, for some reason, I don't know why, but I feel like COVID has kind of made it a little bit more noticeable and actually gone, okay, we should focus on this. Because we've noticed that these two groups are so severely discriminated. And I think it's amazing that you've started from years ago anyway, so this is nothing new. But I think this is really, really going to benefit now, because I think people are, I don't think people are doing that much about it, but I think people are starting to listen and starting to go, oh, okay, you know, there is trans, there is this, there is that. And I think it's really, really good. So what sort of, are you still, is Stomp mainly for LGBT, or is this open for everyone?
Absolutely open for everyone. We did start off with LGBT. That was one of our starting foundations, really. But that's why I'm working with, you know, yourselves. We're working with mental health practitioners to try and bring in that support. And it's not just support for the LGBT community, allies as well, like you touched upon. There's a lot of people who they're starting to get that awareness, and the reason why they're hesitant for it is because they don't actually understand. And a lot of it was done through, you know, popular culture and recent program on Channel 4, It's a Sin. A lot of people were looking at that and talking about it going, that was shocking, I can't believe that even happened. And that's why we're going to be doing some, you know, history. You start reading up around it, and then you actually start understanding the reality and why it is significant, why it's important. So it's a lot of it for allies, and also mental well-being. You can be an ally, but if you're struggling with your mental well-being, the portal, most importantly, is just for you as well.
Where can people? Let's try it then. Where can people actually get this portal then? So where is it? Like, where is it located? Is there an easier way to do it and stuff?
Yeah, absolutely. We are on social media, on Stomp UK on social media. I know all of our updates are coming through social media, but you can also Google us at Stomp UK portal as well. So once you've Googled us, get our website. Obviously, you can save it to your home screen of your phone if you want a quick win. But also what I do recommend doing is subscribing to our newsletter, because you will be getting a monthly update when we do put new content up there. And obviously, you've stepped since then, life's happened. If you just need to dip in and out of it, you know, that is that regular communication. And through those newsletters, we will be asking you in terms of, what do you want to see? Review our content. You know, it's for you, so tell us what you like. And that's what I'd really recommend people to do as well, because also, who knows, when it pops in your mailbox, it might be what you need. So social media, Google, and once you're on the website, subscribe.
No, 100%. Just, I thought I'd get a little bit personal, but how have you been coping with your own mental health with COVID, and have you got any hints and tips of what you've been doing? Because obviously you've been from listening what you said, your journey has been from marketing to creating Stomp to go to teaching. So I just wondered if you, as a person who works along the side of stuff, if you've got any hints and tips of how you've been coping yourself.
Absolutely, yeah. Beforehand, when it all first happened, obviously we were all at home. We were teaching at home. I've worked from home. And one of the main things I do, and it sounds really silly, and it's a really simple thing, is at the end of every day, I put my laptop into a bag, I leave it in the office or leave it in my car. Hope no one robs it, but we've been fine so far. And go out for a walk. So you're reenacting that personal journey of going to work, coming back to work. And even though your stuff's there, and I know it's temptation, it's like having that big red button saying don't press it or check my emails, making sure that you are actually taking that time. Clock's finished, I'm not in work now. Because people do expect more from you when you're at home in terms of that work-life balance seems to have absolutely gone the other way. And people expect you to be on emails at 8 to 9 o'clock at night. Make sure that you've gone on your phone, and if you finished work, mute them. So you're not drawn into that temptation, or leave your phone for an hour or half an hour before you go to bed. Leave that phone in your other room. Do something, whether it's watching mind-numbing reality TV, do some colouring, reading, a bit of yoga, just to have that you time. Because we can't go to the pub. Quite sad about that. Can't go on holiday, so I can't sit by a pool. You've not got those outlets. You can't go to the gym. You need to create those outlets of when you do have that switch off hobby time, and creating that and keeping a routine, I would say, is really, really important.
No, do you know what? It sounds so simple, but it is so hard. Like, I'm quite good at turning off from work, but then I've always got some other side project that I'm like, but technically I'm thinking, I'm still staring at a screen, I'm still doing this. So I think that's really, really good. And I like the idea that you put your computer away and stuff. I think it does sound so basic. I mean, I hope your car doesn't get nicks or anything, but it's worth it for the turn off, I'm guessing.
We're crossing fingers. We'll cross that bridge when we come to it. We're all good so far. But the most important thing is literally just leaving it elsewhere. Like when you leave school or when you leave work, you're leaving your problems there, and you'll focus at that between the hours of contracted hours. Just at 7:30 at night, don't just go, oh, I'm going to get into that. Because actually, I found that you end up doing a much worse job because you're knackered.
Yes.
Absolutely. And you end up going in the next morning. I have to do that. I look at it, I think, oh my God, what's to the right? I did some marking with a glass of wine. Bad idea. Looked at that. I thought, why on earth did I do that? Because I thought I was being clever. No, you're not. You need to have that differentiation, that time away.
Oh, I love that. I'd love to be that kid though. I bet they got like an A star. Oh, that's perfect. It's perfect.
Lovely. Brilliant. Yeah.
Drop a little bit of wine on it as well.
Oh, come on, we're still saying professional here, but no, absolutely, just, it's little things and people forget them. And it's one of those things that we always say, prepare for a rainy day when the sun's shining. Sounds really silly, but England we know what the weather's like. It was beautiful at the weekend. It's now snowing. So we're preparing for, makes no sense, but prepare for that rainy day when it's good. So there are loads of hints, tips, activities to be doing, like the anxiety handbook. Keep doing those little rituals when you're good, when you're feeling mentally strong, as when those snowy days do come, you've got that support and you've got in those coping mechanisms into your routine to help deal with them. Because it's really hard when you're initially struggling and we're imposing new things to work with while you're struggling. So it's all completely new. It's not part of your routine, and it's actually quite hard to change that thought cycle. So keep planning when it is lovely and sunny, and keep working on it as part of your wellness journey.
I think that's brilliant. And you can find some of this stuff on the portal, can't you, from what you're saying? Is that correct?
All there, absolutely, all there. All the hints, tips, activities, exercises you can be doing, whether it's well-being, mindfulness. We have a big thing on mindfulness, lots of meditation activities on there. I'm quite a believer, half an hour before bed. But then if it is more serious, we have got the depression help, we have got the low mood, anxiety, and also links as well to free support. If you do need that face-to-face or you do want to speak to a professional, we have got those free support links on there as well. Because it's sometimes everyone's different. You know, it will help you if you're waiting for your appointment to come through. You've got that support there, but you might need extra. Make it personal to you, and that support for those next stages are also on the portal as well for you.
No, that's the main thing, because obviously at Time to Talk, the whole point of us is to refer you to different counsellors or different ways of getting help, because the list is so, people are waiting months and months and months for these counselling sessions, and things might be too hard. You know, think people might not even make them counselling sessions. So having something that they can freely go in, and they're anonymous, I'm guessing, as well, and stuff like that. So
absolutely. Oh yeah.
So I think
absolutely anonymous.
It's brilliant that it's there, because people are going to need it. And like I said, you get into that black hole if you don't know what's right or wrong when you go down the Google. I mean, you can Google anything these days and everything will come out bad, even if you're trying to get good stuff. So I think your portal's just going to be, okay, here is your direct help.
Absolutely. I mean, if I Googled it, I'm sure I get cancer every month on things I Google, and it is. And what that does, that implication has on your mental health. And, you know,
and then you stress again.
Get personal. It's stress. We do have work on stress. Very nice segue. But make it personal. I have been there. Like, I've been to my GP, really struggled with my mental health a year and a bit ago, and I needed that instant support. And I was put on a waiting list. This was urgent, so ultra urgent, and I still had to wait 4 months to get support. Those thoughts, those feelings don't go away in those 4 months.
Oh no, they get worse.
They get worse, especially even they describe you a concoction of whatever, but that wasn't helping. And that's why, you know, personally for me, that's why I wanted to create that to try and cope it. So actually you're starting to think a bit clearer when you do access that support. You know, you're going in with a slightly more broader, fresher mindset. You can actually get more out of it. So I'm actually dealing with long-term strategies, and this is again what you do with Time to Talk. So when you get that support, you can deal with more long-term strategies on how to make the best version of yourself. We're not using that time to firefight and make it absolutely just survival. Just go from survival into long-term planning.
It literally is. Everything is. And like I said, like some stuff might not work for you and some stuff might. And then with your portal, you can pick and choose. You might read one book like, oh God, almighty, that's a waste of my time. And then you pick up another one, you think you've had an epiphany. Do you know what I mean? And it is just helping people, because that time that you are lonely, and you may have told someone, but sometimes, however much they say talk to someone makes it feel better, you still might feel shit. So it's good to have this stuff that you can read and you can develop. And I'm just excited to see it grow. And definitely, by the time of talking, you and Stomp are coming together anyway, and it's what's needed, really. And I think I wish we did it years ago.
I wish we did, but also people are now talking about it, and we could have done it years ago. There would be the stigma, and we'll probably get one person view and get a month, and that one person will probably be the person who's all over it anyway. There is one that's really excited what's coming along. Obviously, we do a lot of online stuff. It's a bit of a teaser, really. See what's to come with Time to Talk, because there will be something, hopefully. We've had the chats. I don't know how much we can say. God, I do feel like I'm on This Morning now. I don't know what we confirm, but what I can say is it will be good.
It's going to be good, guys. We're going to come together, and it's going to be huge. There'll be probably too much on there, but in a good way. And I think
it's personal to you.
Yeah, it literally is. Everyone could just pick and choose. Like I said, like we want to make everything so broad in a way, just because like you've just got to make everyone happy. We can't pick one person, and that one person. The world's just so different now as well since COVID. Like you said, people working from home, being forced into that. Some people love working at home. Some people don't like working at home. It's everyone. Absolutely. It's exhausting, but it's brilliant.
Some people, you're a great lover of yoga. I'm about as flexible as a brick. I need a bit more mindfulness. You know, again, just make it personal. Honestly, flexible as a brick. No one wants to see that. It's not good. Although, give me a few drinks. I try too hard,
to be honest. I get stuck.
Oh, give me a few drinks. I feel I could go on Strictly Come Dancing. But yeah, absolutely no chance. But that bit of meditation, really works for my anxiety. But yeah, Very, very exciting. COVID might have put a few obstacles in our way, but we've
We'll
got
get
plans.
past it. I think we've come through the worst. This might be my, optimism kicking in, but we have got through the worst. So I think it's all up from now. But all I wanted to end on is just to re-say where you can contact you, just because then people have it drilled in the head. To also just like to add, when you do subscribe, it is so simple. Like when people do subscribe, it's not a huge list. It's literally 2 boxes, one bam, you're done. So where can you get it then, Dan?
Thank you very much. You can obviously go onto social media. We are on LinkedIn, Twitter, of course, Facebook at Stomp UK. And you can also go onto our website, which is stompukportal.com. And like she said, pop your email address in, your name, email address, click submit. That's it. Your data stays with us. It is absolutely secure. It goes to nobody else. You will just get an email once a month with content updates or maybe a survey. It's not going to be every day. It doesn't go to third parties. It will stay at Stomp UK. It's stompukportal.com. And obviously, social media. Tell us what you think of it as well. So we will create more of what you like.
Yes, tell everyone what we want. Same with Time to Talk. Tell us anything. Okay, not too extreme though. But
keep it PC here.
Well, each to their own, isn't it? But Dan, thank you so much for this. This has been amazing. I'm already excited. I've had a bit of a long day at work and now I feel revived.
I do. This is why we do it. We've got other jobs, we've got other commitments, but it is literally when we know what's coming, there'll be some social media posts of what we're announcing in the next few months. That's what makes it real. That's why we're doing it. The whole thing will come together.